Hey folks, I'm your host BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show, and I want to tell you this: there's a lot of Supreme Court cases that you need to be keeping an eye on. We will get into that in just a minute. All right, let's do this because we are running late. 9:13. Let's get that video back up. This is Ron Johnson. Yes, I do know the headline right now is Trump loses court case to keep his tax records sealed. We'll get into that in a second. So I figured they had something to blow up this morning, right, on the President of the United States. That would be it. So Trump loses New York court fight to keep his tax records secret. This will go to the next level, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Let's play the video.
I'm going to begin our discussion this morning with Senator Johnson. Senator Johnson, welcome back to Meet the Press, sir.
Morning, Chuck.
Let me start with something you told the Wall Street Journal late last week. You had said when Gordon Sondland seemed to imply that the frozen military aid was connected to a promise by Zelensky for investigations. You said, at that suggestion, I winced. My reaction was, oh, God, I don't want to see those two things combined. Why did you wince, and what did you mean by those two things combined?
Well, first of all, your setup piece was, typically very unbiased. But let me first, before I start answering all the detailed questions, let me just talk about why I'm pretty sympathetic with what President Trump has gone through. I'm 64 years old. I have never in my lifetime seen a president, after being elected, not having some measure of well wishes from his opponents. I've never seen a president's administration be sabotaged from the day after election. I've never seen no measure of honeymoon whatsoever. And so what President Trump's had to endure, a false accusation. By the way, you've got John Brennan on. You ought to ask Director Brennan, what did Peter Strzok mean when he texted Lisa Page on December 15, 2016?
Senator,
quote,
Senator,
Chuck, let me finish.
What does this have to do
have begun
with
leaking like
Ukraine?
Mad, scorned and
what
worried.
What does this have to do with Ukraine?
It has everything to do with Ukraine. Now listen, think our sisters have begun leaking like mad, scorned and worried and political. They're kicking into overdrive. Now, that was December 15th. 6 days before that is when we first started hearing the CIA leaking about Russia supporting the Trump campaign. That is why Trump is so upset. He had this false narrative that resulted in him being set up by James Comey on January 16th. Then he has a special counsel appointed that has hampered his entire investigation, his entire administration. And now, once that was proven false, he would like to know, and I would like to know, and I know his supporters would like to know, where did this all come from? Who planted that false story?
Senator,
who leaked? I have my third letter into the Inspector General of the Intelligence Committee asking to just confirm, are you investigating those leaks that Peter Strzok talked about in that text?
Senator, I have no idea.
So again, that's a setup. It is entirely irrelevant to this point.
Why a Fox News conspiracy propaganda stuff is popping up on here? I have no idea.
It is not.
I have no idea why we're going here.
That is
Senator,
because
I'm
this is underlying exactly why President Trump is upset and why his supporters are upset at the news media.
Okay, this is not about the media. Senator Johnson, please. Can we please answer the question that I asked you instead of trying to make Donald Trump feel better here that you're not criticizing him? I'm just trying to ask you a simple question of what made you wince. I'm asking a simple question about you clearly were upset that somehow there was an implication that military aid was being frozen because the president wanted an investigation. Why did you wince?
Because I didn't want those connected. And I was supporting the aid, as is Senator Murphy, as is everybody that went to that initial inauguration. But here's the salient point of why I came forward. When I asked the president about that, he completely denied it. He adamantly denied it. He vehemently, angrily denied it. He said, I'd never do that. So that is the piece of the puzzle I'm here to report today, that unlike the narrative of the press that President Trump wants to dig up dirt on his 2020 opponent, what he wants is an accounting of what happened in 2016. Who set him up? Did things spring from Ukraine? There's a good piece we've got an oversight letter on from Politico in 2017, where let me quote the article. It says Ukrainian government officials tried to help Hillary Clinton and undermine Trump. They did so by disseminating documents implicating a top Trump aide in corruption, suggesting they were investigating the matter. Ukrainian officials also reportedly helped Clinton allies research damaging information on Trump and his advisors. There is potential interference in the 2016 campaign.
Let me ask you this.
That's what Trump wants to get to the bottom of, but the press doesn't want to.
Ambassador,
the people who wrote this article are being pilloried. I'm being called a conspiracy theorist. John Solomon's being called a conspiracy theorist because the press is horribly biased, and Trump and his supporters completely understand that.
I understand that the way to avoid answering a question is to attack us in the press. I'm well aware of that, and that's how it works.
No, I'm trying
Let me
to lay
ask
the
you something that
groundwork
Ambassador Volker said. Let me tell you what Ambassador Volker said under oath, and I'm curious if you shared this concern. Ambassador Volker said this. I explained that I believe that Mayor Giuliani continues to have a negative view of Ukraine based on assertions of actions that happened in 2016, and that this viewpoint is likely making its way to the president. Were you concerned that Rudy Giuliani's disinformation campaign, sort of Ukrainian propaganda campaign, was negatively influencing the president's views of the current Ukrainian president?
Well, certainly the reports, not only from Rudy Giuliani, but from Ken Vogel out of Politico and John Solomon doing some pretty good investigative reporting. Now the Washington Post is attacking him, undermining him. All that information, we have never got the answers to those questions. Chuck, I want to get to the truth. I'm not here defending the president. I'm not here to denounce him either. What I'm here is telling you my piece of the puzzle here, giving you my honest assessment of what I heard, how the president told me repeatedly in the May 23rd Oval Office visit, on the phone on the 31st, the reason he had very legitimate concerns and reservations about Ukraine is first corruption, generalized, it's endemic. We all know that. And then specifically about what kind of interference in the 2016 election, and also the fact that Europe is not stepping up to the plate.
You think Paul Manafort was framed?
No. Obviously he was convicted, but there's a lot of other stuff going on back then too. Hillary Clinton's campaign was searching for dirt, maybe not only on Paul Manafort, but trying to keep Vice President Biden out of the primary for the Democratic campaign. So again, Chuck, the bottom line is there are so many questions unanswered. So again, ask John Brennan.
Let me ask you this:
What was Peter Strzok? What did Peter Strzok mean when the sisters began leaking like mad?
Yeah.
What was the CIA scorned and worried about? What were they kicking into overdrive? There's a key question I want answered among about 100
So,
others.
Senator, do you not believe the Russians interfered in the presidential elections to benefit Donald Trump?
They absolutely did. They absolutely did. And I don't know to what extent the Ukrainians did. I don't know to what extent DNC and Hillary Clinton campaign were involved in kind of juicing up the Ukrainian involvement in this as well.
You just ask
there are a lot of unanswered questions. Chuck, I just want the truth. The American people want the truth.
So do you not trust do you not trust the FBI? You don't trust the CIA?
No.
I'm just very confused here.
Absolutely
you don't trust
not.
either
After
of those
Peter Strzok
agencies.
and Lisa Page.
Okay.
After James Comey.
You believe the FBI and the CIA,
John
these
Brennan. No, I don't
agencies?
trust any of these guys in the Obama administration. I don't trust any of them.
You don't trust them now? Do you trust them now?
No, I didn't trust them back then.
And you don't trust them now?
I do not trust John Brennan. I do not trust.
Do you trust the CIA and FBI now? Because none of them have come to any of the conclusions you're trying to come to. I'm just curious. Do you trust them now?
Now, who are you talking about?
The CIA and the FBI.
I don't trust Andrew McCabe.
Do you
I don't
trust
Andrew McCabe. I don't trust James Comey. I don't trust Peter Strzok. I don't trust John Brennan.
Senator, let me ask you this.
I've got a lot of questions that remain unanswered.
One of the things that you came on here to do.
Chuck.
I
just want the truth.
So
you set this thing up totally biased. I could never really get into the full narrative. We don't have enough time to go through all the things I can talk about in
You're
terms
right,
of
because you came here and chose to bring up something about Lisa Page and Peter Strzok
with something incredibly biased that I would never be able to get the truth out.
Senator, I don't know why you just came on here to personally attack the press and avoid answering questions about what's happened here.
Because of your setup,
Senator, it's pretty clear we're only dealing with the facts that we have, not the facts that you wish them to be.
And I can't get the answers. The American people can't get the answers. Something pretty fishy happened during the 2016 campaign and in the transition, in the early part of the Trump presidency, and we still don't know. Robert Mueller was completely blinded. He never looked into any of that, and he should have.
You're just making a choice.
William Barr will.
You're making a choice
Hopefully
not to
William Barr will get
believe.
to the bottom of this.
You're making a choice not to believe the investigations that have taken
No,
place.
I'm trying to get to the truth. I want to look at the entire truth, Chuck.
Does the
media
truth,
doesn't.
And the truth is only when it benefits, when
No,
you believe it's politically
you're totally false.
comfortable with you? I don't
You're totally
understand.
incorrect.
What truth are you looking for?
I want the complete truth.
So,
I want the
so are
complete
we.
truth.
I'm sorry that you chose
I
to come
doubt
on
that.
this way, Senator. Thanks very much. Joining me
I'm
now.
sorry you started the piece that way.
NBC News fans, NBC News fans, NBC News fans.
I wasn't going to play. There you go. I wasn't going to play the whole thing. I know you were sitting over there, Destiny, wondering, because I told you when we started to stop it when I said come back to me, and stop it when I said come back to me, and also, to save the spot. I couldn't let it go. That's the way I was glued to this yesterday. Let's go over what Ron Johnson, Senator of Wisconsin, and don't believe. Okay, let me go with this. Do not believe. Go ahead and give me number, boom, boom, boom. Number 10. All right. So John Brennan came on, later in the show, and Chuck Todd got to pat him on the back and thank him for, being a spy. He's 64 years old. Let me just throw a couple things out so I can move on. Ron Johnson said, I'm 64 years old, and he gave a list of nevers. And I'm with him. I'm not 64, by the way. But I agree. He gave a list of nevers, okay? I've never seen this. I never seen that. Whole list. I agree with him. I think the American people, okay? John Brennan? No, I don't trust John Brennan. What does this have to do with, okay? Chuck Todd is so angry that he releases that Ron Johnson is on there releasing information. CIA leaking. Whoa. CIA leaking. He goes after it, okay? Absolutely goes after it. He comes back like Chuck Todd's like, answer the damn question. Answer the damn question. I'm asking a simple question, Chuck Todd keeps saying, okay? Now here's the one that blew up on them, and they're not talking this morning and has them nervous. Is what if people would pick up the narrative, keep Biden out of the campaign? Now, asking a foreign country to dig up dirt, okay, against your political opponent, isn't Trump like way behind on that? Didn't Hillary Clinton go to Ukraine? Didn't Hillary Clinton have everything ready to launch with Joe Biden? Are you telling me that this, after Trump won, okay, that Obama said, Joe, you don't have to do this? No. They had to make Joe do it. But the deal that Hillary Clinton and Obama had, and I just say this tongue in cheek, I'll be Secretary of State, but I will run for president and Biden won't come out. And I will mess Biden up if he comes out. He will not ride your coattails thinking he's going to run for office. It's me. So Clinton, that is the one right there. Keep Biden out of the campaign. That's the one. Okay? Oh, yes. Digging up dirt on your political rivals, that, if you look at what set them off and what is setting them off, oh, well, I hate you used your time to come on here and personally attack the press. Chuck Todd said, we're only dealing with the facts we have. That means we're only dealing with the facts we care to share in our own way. You are making a choice not to believe. That's what Chuck Todd said to Ron Johnson. You're making a choice not to believe the narrative we're setting out here. You're making that choice. It's all been debunked. No, it hasn't. The media is debunking it. Everything about Ukraine and Biden and his little boy Scooter Hunter is true, okay? Burisma, crooked gas company. There's so much to find there. There's so much to find with China. Start doing the research. Rosemont Capital, Devin Archer, John Kerry. Put in Burisma, Rosemont Capital, Devin Archer, John Kerry, New Mexico, Bank of China. Just keep putting those in and then hit go. And just keep reading, okay, all the background. So that was an attack on Ron Johnson, Senator of Wisconsin, because they don't want you to know Hillary Clinton kept Biden out of the campaign, right? Let's go to we have a brief break, and then we're going to come back and do our show wrap-up of the day. I've got a bunch of pictures I want to go through, and we want to talk about. How come we don't get Volker's, okay, transcript released to the public? Why not? Let's get that. Why are they hiding that? Why are they not talking about that? Why are they diverting attention to Trump's tax returns? We'll talk about that. And what about, wait a minute, don't go yet. What about the judge that said preserve all documents with foreign leaders? Really? We need a judge to do that for the executive office? Take us to break.